Fresh morning sunlight washed over the snowy Aspen Mountains, bathing the valley in a soft, pale glow. It was the kind of breathtaking view that made guests exhale in awe the moment they stepped out of their vehicles. The Aurora Grand Resort and Spa sat right in the center of that perfection, its tall glass windows, stone pathways, and warm amber lighting reflecting off the untouched snow as if it belonged in a winter fairy tale. I took it in for a brief second from the staff entrance, cold air brushing across my cheeks, before the Blackwood family's Range Rover came rumbling up the main drive, expensive, intrusive, and unmistakably loud against the peaceful mountain backdrop. A valet hurried forward at once, already reaching for Evelyn Blackwood's designer luggage. Even from where I stood, I could hear her clipped voice snapping at the poor boy, lecturing him on how to properly handle a suitcase that probably cost more than his monthly salary. "Miss Parker," Lisa whispered as she appeared beside me, clutching her clipboard like a lifeline. Her expression was tight with worry. "The Blackwoods want their usual suite, but the East Wing renovations moved them to the Lakeview Presidential Suite," I said before she could panic further. I straightened my name tag. "Alex, Guest Services," as my voice steadied. "And don't tell them it's complimentary. Let them assume it's an honor." "That's our most expensive suite," she murmured. "Exactly," I said with a calm, practiced smile. "Trust me." While Evelyn berated the bellhop for daring to touch her Hermes bag the wrong way, the rest of her family climbed out. James, my husband of 3 years, came around to help his sister Cordelia. Neither of them acknowledged me. I had become very skilled at noticing all the parts of me people chose to overlook. "Alex," James finally said stiffly as he walked past, "I thought today was your day off." "Someone has to work through the holidays," I replied evenly. "And your mother specifically asked that competent staff be scheduled while she's here." James flinched. "Mother's been talking with management about your position, about possibly moving you away from guest-facing roles." "I'm aware," I said before he could soften it. "I received the email reminding me to maintain boundaries between staff and guests." Before he could answer, Evelyn's sharp voice cut through the entrance. "Darling, the suite isn't ready. And where is that useless girl who usually handles our arrangements?" "Right here, Mrs. Blackwood," I said, stepping forward with the polished smile I had perfected over years of dealing with her. "Your family has been upgraded to the Lakeview Presidential Suite, due to the renovations." Evelyn's carefully stretched face fought between surprise and approval. "The Presidential Suite? Well, the Blackwood name does come with a certain level of expectation." "Of course," I replied smoothly. "One note, private butler service is temporarily unavailable. Our regular staff will be assisting your family." "Regular staff?" Cordelia blinked theatrically. "But Daddy says we require specialists to match our standards." I swallowed what I wanted to say and gestured toward the elevator instead. "We'll make sure every need is met." "Will Mr. Blackwood Sr. be joining you later?" "Richard arrives tomorrow," Evelyn said, drawing out each word like she feared I might miss the importance. "He's finalizing more property deals. You understand how that is." Then with a smug little smile she added, "Oh wait. I suppose you don't," she added smugly, that if only she knew that the very resort she was standing in had slipped out of her husband's latest acquisition attempt, thanks entirely to me. His supposedly insignificant daughter-in-law. "Mother," James started, but Evelyn waved him off like swatting a fly. "Honestly, James, why do you let her work here like some pool deck employee? A Blackwood spouse wearing a uniform? It's humiliating." "I believe bar managers handle far more than pouring drinks," I replied evenly. "Oh yes," Evelyn chuckled, sorting tiny bottles. "Such exhausting work." She turned sharply to the bellhop. "Our luggage. And do try not to damage anything this time." Cordelia leaned toward James as they walked ahead. "Daddy is furious about the Aurora deal collapsing. Some unknown company snatched it away from him." I waited for the elevator doors to seal shut before letting a small, private smile curl at my lips. That unknown company was mine. "Miss Parker." Lisa reappeared at my side, gripping her clipboard. "The contractors need approval for the East Wing upgrades. And Lisa," I added softly, "make sure the Blackwood suite has a clear view of tomorrow's construction work. Preferably the noisiest section." The following morning, fresh powder blanketed Aspen, along with an even thicker flurry of Blackwood complaints. Evelyn had already rejected 3 breakfasts, each with a more absurd critique than the last. The eggs are too symmetrical, Lisa read from a note. She says symmetry looks common. I didn't even blink. I'd handled far worse from her. But then Richard's booming voice shook the entire lobby. What do you mean you cannot accommodate my helicopter? Do you people have any idea who I am? Of course, Mr. Blackwood, Thomas replied politely, hands clasped behind his back. But the helipad is closed for mandatory safety inspections. It's company policy. Policy? Richard roared. I am in the middle of negotiating to purchase this entire chain. Fetch someone above you. That would be me, I said, stepping forward. His head snapped toward me, confusion turning instantly into disbelief. You? The bartender. Actually, I answered with a calm, practiced smile, I'm the regional manager for Aurora Resorts Mountain Division, among other responsibilities. Right then, Evelyn and Cordelia emerged from the elevator, perfect timing for the spectacle. Daddy, Cordelia hurried over. Did you tell them about buying the resort? Can we fire anyone who was rude about that? Aurora Resorts is not for sale, I said smoothly, and your attempt to purchase shares was declined by our board. The board? Richard sputtered. Listen here. I've been in luxury real estate longer than you've been alive. One call to your corporate office. We'll go directly to my voicemail, I finished. Would you like to know why? Richard's eyes narrowed as the realization dawned. You're the one who blocked the buyout, Alexander Parker Holdings. I nodded once. The very company causing you so much difficulty. And that's just a division of the main enterprise. Main enterprise? Evelyn choked out. Aurora International, I replied. Parent company of Aurora Resorts. Properties and a dozen other brands you've tried to buy for years, I said evenly. James stared at me, stunned. Alex, all those trips, all those late nights, board meetings, acquisitions, running a global corporation, I finished softly. What did you think I was doing? Counting bottles. But you work here, Cordelia blurted out. Like actually work. With uniforms and everything. Every Aurora executive completes hands-on rotations, I explained. It reminds us what truly keeps this company running. That's ridiculous, Evelyn huffed. No legitimate CEO would stoop to doing manual tasks. That mindset, I replied quietly, is why you'll never understand real leadership. You assume being above the work makes someone powerful. We believe the opposite. Respecting every role is what creates something that lasts. Richard had shifted from furious red to a sickly shade of gray. The merger proposals, the acquisition offers, he stammered. All rejected by you personally. Often while serving your family drinks or checking you into your suite, I said, tapping my name tag lightly. Why? James asked suddenly. Why keep it secret? Would it have changed anything? I countered. Would you or your mother have treated the staff with kindness if you'd known I signed the payroll? Would your sister have stopped calling you the help if she knew I am the help? The silence that followed was answer enough. Now, I continued fully composed, about your stay. While I would absolutely love to escort you off the property, I'm extending professional courtesy. You may remain in the presidential suite, at full price naturally, but some adjustments are necessary. Adjustments? Evelyn repeated, voice trembling. First, you will treat every staff member with respect. One complaint about your behavior, and you'll be asked to leave. Second, there will be no more extravagant demands or entitled requests. You'll receive the same excellent service every other guest receives. And if we refuse? Richard tried to sound firm, but his voice shook. Then not only will you be removed from this resort, I replied calmly, you'll be blacklisted from all Aurora properties worldwide, yes, including that little villa in the south of France you adore. A hush settled over the lobby, broken only by faint holiday music. Evelyn clutched her designer handbag like a shield, and Richard seemed to age right in front of me. His empire-building fantasies collapsing. James finally spoke. All this time you let them treat you like someone beneath them. Yes, I said quietly, because I needed to see who they truly were. And who you were. His expression flickered. Fear? Regret? I didn't bother deciphering it. Turning to Lisa, who had been watching with barely contained delight, I said, Please ensure the Blackwoods receive the authentic Aurora experience during their stay. Every standard policy, she asked, fighting a smile. Every single one. No exceptions. I met Evelyn's horrified eyes. They can learn what it feels like to be treated exactly like everyone else. This is insane. Cordelia burst out. Daddy, fix this. Call your lawyers. Your father's lawyers, I corrected gently, are currently learning that every attempted hostile takeover, every shady maneuver he tried against Aurora Properties, has been documented. I tilted my head. Would you like to go over that publicly? Richard visibly deflated. What do you want? He asked, defeated. What do I want? I repeated, considering the question. Question. I echoed softly. I want you to finally grasp something. The woman you wrote off as the help has been 10 steps ahead of you in every business move. While you were showing off about buying my company, I was quietly watching you expose every flaw in your own. Are you threatening us? Evelyn's voice trembled. Not at all, I replied. I'm offering you an education. I swept my hand toward the lobby around us. Every person working here, every server, every attendant you've sneered at, is part of what makes Aurora thrive. Their commitment, their expertise, that is what real value looks like. Not your name, not your social ranking, not your constant demands for special treatment. James stepped closer. Alex, I need to decide whether you want a life built on effort, I finished, or one built on entitlement. He's a Blackwood, Evelyn snapped. He belongs in real society, not fetching drinks and folding linens. Actually, James said, his voice strangely steady, I've been thinking about stepping away from the family firm, maybe doing something that actually matters. What? Richard blurted, looking as if the floor tilted beneath him. Aurora has a strong management training track, I offered. Starting in housekeeping, moving through every department, learning the business from the ground up. Housekeeping. Cordelia gasped like the word was toxic. James, you can't. But I saw it. The shift in his eyes, relief. Possibility. A door opening. When can I start? He asked. Evelyn collapsed onto a lobby sofa, her flawless posture drooping. This is a nightmare, simply a nightmare. No, I corrected gently. This is reality. The reality of how successful companies are built. Through respect, effort, and understanding every corner of the work. I turned to go, then paused. Oh, and Richard? He looked up, defeated. Next time you attempt a hostile takeover, you might want to check who the owner is first. That little hotel girl might just be the CEO. Later that evening, I found James in the staff break room, his cashmere sweater replaced with an Aurora uniform. They've gone back to Boston, he said quietly. Dad's canceling all the acquisition plans. Mom's telling everyone Aurora Properties are beneath their standards. And you? I asked gently. I'm ready to learn, he said with a small, earnest smile. Really learn. From the ground up. If you'll let me. The work is demanding, I warned. No advantages. No skipping steps. Good, he nodded. I don't want shortcuts. Not anymore. I handed him a name tag, James, housekeeping trainee, where every career here begins the same way. With a uniform and the willingness to work. As we walked through the halls, staff members who once avoided the Blackwood family now greeted him with quiet nods. Not because of his last name, but because he was standing among them, learning, trying, building something real. Sometimes, I reflected, the best way to expose arrogance isn't through punishment, that it's by offering a better way to live. Even if that means starting in housekeeping with a silver spoon tucked in your pocket.